You're right. It's like it's my first time I've ever done a show. Oh my goodness!
Oh,
No,
now we're live, of course.
We're live. Whoa, whoa! Cool, calm, and collected. What's going on, everybody? Over there's Diggz. Right here's Diego. Welcome to it. Rockin' the Crease. Right here on the Asylum.
Yes.
It's the NHL Stanley Cup Playoff preview first show. We just wanted to do something. We talked about this for years. We'd never had opportunity to do it. Now here's the opportunity. Your team is pretty mediocre. They're okay. They just barely made the playoffs by the skin of their 135-point teeth. and mine is getting ready for the draft, so that's fine.
yours is watching this show right now to find out where they went wrong.
That's exactly it. Find out where all the big money players might be headed this year. Our wish list.
Definitely not San Jose.
Definitely not staying in San Jose. No, not whatsoever. So the Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and I still like watching the playoffs. I hate it. The Sharks aren't in it, right? But there's a certain, I guess, acronym of like, now you can just sit back and enjoy the game as opposed, you know how it is. Like,
yeah,
you can watch a game, but if it's not your teams, you could care less. You could walk away, you could go to the bathroom, you could get something to eat. Casually, I guess you could watch it is the word how you would say that. But if it's one of your teams, I pee in a bucket, sit it right beside the couch.
Well, that's true. And a true hockey fan will watch the playoffs in hopes of just watching a good game.
Yep.
That's my take on it. If the Bruins aren't in it, I'm on the East Coast. I'm a diehard black and gold, as you know.
Yep.
My team is skating through slightly. They have mediocre goaltending.
That's it. Yeah, not the greatest, but it's just enough. Just enough.
But I mean, even if they weren't in it, I'm watching it because this is really the best hockey of the year. It
is. It really is. It's almost like when they start playing. Not that they mail it in, whatever you want to say by any means, but this is when it really turns up, it heats up. It's fast. It's exciting. Sometimes great goaltending. Sometimes you're looking at 5-6 games all night long, 5-6, 6-7, 3-4, and then you'll have those weird series that it'll be a 2-1 all the way through 7 games. And that's what you want. I mean, if you don't have the rooting interest, you want a nice 7-game series that like a nail
biter. You want that nail biter where the underdogs are coming back from 2 or 3 goals down. You want the hard hitting, you want the clean hits, you want a couple of scuffles.
Yep. But last year's Cup Finals, I wanted more. Like, you could see after about the 3rd game that Colorado was about to just they were going to put it away. But I thought, well, maybe Tampa will come back. I want to watch this go 7 games. And I wanted to see Tampa three-peat just because it's not something we get to see often. Not since the Red Wings do it. Did the Red Wings do it? Yeah. Which nobody's got time for that. There's nobody in the world that likes the Red Wings.
No, I don't even think you like them if you're in Detroit.
Red Wings fans, here's where we'll start losing everybody. Red Wings fans, I can't stand them. They're like Cowboys and Yankees fans to me. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I guess now I aren't friends anymore because I am a Yankees fan, but that's for another segment.
That's another show, yeah. Balls and more, yeah.
If we're talking about fans, let's talk about Maple Leaf fans.
Yes.
Once again, they're back in the playoffs. Do you think they're gonna make a run? Make it?
I think it's gonna be another first round exit. Like it's something about that team that they just can't. I don't understand. You can't explain it, right? And to 3 years ago, for 2 years I was a Maple Leafs fan supporter because they had Marleau. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I followed that extremely close. I thought this is where they're going to get their cup. They had Marner. They just brought Tavares over and they had Marleau. And I was like, all right, this is a thing. And then Marleau comes back to San Jose and then Thornton goes out there. And I was like, all right, I'm going to be a Leafs fan again. So I've felt their pain for the last 3 years, of they just can't get out of their own way. I don't think it's going to be this year either. Like personally, I know the East is too much.
The East is stacked. Too much.
Man, it's stacked.
I mean, here's the bracket right here. I mean, it's a little small, but I mean, you got the Panthers and the Bruins, you get the Lightning and the Leafs, the Islanders and the Hurricanes, and the Rangers and the Devils. That's a stacked East Coast right there. That's going to be a tough battle for any team, even with the Bruins.
It's especially on that side of the bracket. Like even if which the Lightning aren't what they were 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even last year. but they're still a formidable opponent. Not to mention they have all the experience on their side. They've been in the Cup final 3 years, the last 3 years.
Yep.
Coaching is amazing. They're a fast team. They're still young. After even with all that being said, Lightning are still young. Maple Leafs, if Tavares doesn't go, neither does Marner, and then next thing you know, the Leafs lose a nail biter, and then they're down 2-1 in a series, and then you blink and they're out. And it's like it's this all this. I can't think of it. They traded for somebody at the deadline. Tarasenko possibly? No, I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
But it's just another one of those Maple Leafs moves at the deadline that they just steamroll into the playoffs and then they just whimper out. And I mean, unfortunately, I think, my opinion, it's going to be a lot of the same this year, and it's just sucks for hockey. You know, they say there's certain teams in sports that the sport does better when said team is involved, and that just so happens that's the Toronto Maple Leafs are kind of a big deal to hockey. You know.
Oh, 100%. They're one of the original 6, but they can't get out of their own way ever since they blew their lead to Boston when Boston won the Cup in 11.
Yep.
They can't get out of their own way. They had it there. It
has been kind of a snake-bitten thing since then, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Maybe they have the jersey curse. Maybe they're wise by them jerseys.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. That was with Tim Thomas. We call it the Tim Thomas curse.
That was when Timmy played out of his mind. And then he literally went out of his mind.
For the whole playoffs, not just that series, the entire playoffs.
Exactly.
Tim Thomas just carried them. He's carried that team. And Chara was on that fucking 6'12" Neanderthal, 6'13" when he's on skates.
Yep.
That's the biggest dude ever on hockey skates. And yeah, that was a scary team overall. That Boston team was a scary team overall.
Well, let's if we're going to talk about Boston, let's look at Boston now and see where they're at now. I mean, the top 2 goaltenders in the league. Allmark has a 1.98 goals against in the 62 games he's played. He's only allowed less than 2 goals in 52 of those games,
which is crazy,
unheard of.
Which is crazy. Like I can't even think of anybody recently that's been that dominating. We had good goaltending right over there, especially here in the Nashville area. They had I can't remember his name. He's retired now, but they had that dude Pecorine for forever, and he was good. And now they got UC which is another great goaltender as well. But like, you don't hear numbers like that. That is just that's Dominic Hasek stuff right there. You know.
Well, that's the thing. And to your point, yeah, you're not seeing stats like that. But I don't even think we saw stats like that even back in the day. I mean, you're looking at goaltenders like Martin Brodeur, Patrick Roy, Mike Richter. Andy Moog, like all these premier goaltenders.
Yeah,
you don't see numbers like that regardless of what.
And not to mention, this is a different NHL. Like scoring wasn't up like it is now. Scoring is up, like it is way up. And
the game back then was a lot slower. The guys were a lot slower. You got guys like now like Ovechkin and Crybaby Crosby and all the. I hate Crosby.
I did not know that you're not a Crosby fan. I didn't know that.
No, I can't stand him. But you guys, I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. But you got guys like that are, and DeBrusque and Bergeron and Marchand and Connor McDavid. You got these guys that are flying and they're putting up points like you. I never thought I was going to see. Let alone these guys also tracking records to Gretzky.
Right. Which, speaking of, to switch gears, Rich says the Bees choke at the worst time. They do.
They do, Ricky. They do. What's up, brother?
But this is the first year. This is the first year since they've both came in NHL. First time, whatever, since his rookie year for Crosby not making the playoffs.
Yep.
But it's the first time ever that OV or Crosby is not in the playoffs representing.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Because you think of all the battles that they've had, you know, the Pens and the Capitals, the Bruins and the Capitals, anyone battling those two teams, your heart's like, oh shit, I have to go against Ovi or Crosby.
Yep.
And then especially when I can't think of the goaltender's name for the Penguins at the time.
Oh, Fleury, Marc-Andre Fleury. Yeah,
when Marc-Andre Fleury was playing for the Pens, and you had Crosby, and you know, it's crazy.
Those were just good teams. Those have been good teams for forever, and it's kind of a sign of the times, like we were saying earlier. It's what you want to call it, a changing of the guard. I mean, it's still good players, but Pittsburgh's more than just Crosby. I mean, they still got Malkin. They still got Letang.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember their goal. They have another new goal. The Penguins and fresh face young goalies that are good. Where the hell they find them, I have no idea. But they can send some down our way anytime they like, because I couldn't tell you the last time we had a goalie in our farm system that was going to be something. And here Pittsburgh is Fleury, and then after Fleury was Matt Murray, and then after Murray was somebody else, and then after that is the guy I can't remember either of their names, but they had two other goalies since Murray and Fleury, which that was the San Jose, then the Predators the two Stanley Cup Finals they had back to back Pittsburgh in that transition, and it's like they never missed a beat. I don't know what they're doing down there in Pittsburgh for goaltending, but I mean they're doing it right. But it's my point to that is the Penguins they're more than Crosby, especially this year. And for them not to make the playoffs, it's just it is what it is. We're all getting a little older, and it's a new NHL. And with the Caps, it's not as surprising. It seems like they change coaches every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They had Barry Trotz there for a hot minute. Now he's here in Nashville again as the new GM. And then I think because they just recently fired their coach, did they not? Or their GM, one of the two.
Yep, they did. The GM.
Pittsburgh cleaned house, GM, assistant GM, and I think they retained the coach, though, however. But, with those two not being in the playoffs, it just looks weird. I mean, like, you already put it up there once, but the bracket just looks weird not seeing either one of those two. It was like the Red Wings, as much as I hate to admit that. When the Wings stopped, they went through their kind of phase that they're still kind of in. You don't see them in the playoffs. It's almost like out of the 8 teams, 7, because, Detroit, you might as well just give them that. It's the same thing with Pittsburgh, kind of, in the same manner. And to not see them up there this year is definitely a little different for me.
Well, also, I'm going to pop that back up real quick. If you look at the West, Seattle.
Oh, I know. You talk about frustration. Seattle, like.
I mean, you got Seattle and Colorado in the first round.
Yeah.
Colorado's going to take that.
They should.
But I mean, I'm going to date myself and I'm going to date you because now you're in the AARP group as I am. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This coffee was 65 cents. I used my senior citizen discount.
That a boy. But I mean, when expansion teams came into the NHL back in the day, when the Sharks came in and when Hartford switched over to Carolina, you didn't see these teams make playoffs for years.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, you got Vegas coming in their first run, in their first year, making it to the
final, right? Yeah,
they went to the finals. You got Seattle making it in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it's just a better draft class coming in, better players. The game, like we said, the game's evolving.
It could be that, but also the what do they call that when the expansion draft? The expansion draft. That Vegas's expansion draft was almost as good as like just a regular draft. Like they had pick of the litter. They took so many superstars, which was all headed up by Fleury, taking him right out of Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So it's the old saying, one man's trash is another one's treasure. Like Vegas took that team and just put a bunch of scrappers and a real good goaltender that they lost a little bit of faith in and rode it all the way to the Cup final that year. And now here you got Seattle, which wasn't that great in their first year.
Nope.
And here they are. They had over 100 points. One of like 10 of the teams that are in this bracket, if not more, had over 100 points, I believe, this year. It's just crazy. It just blows my mind. And like you said, I can remember, not to keep going back to the Homerville, but I can remember when the Sharks came in 91. It felt like forever to get to the playoffs and then Little Long win a series. It just, what is going on? Yeah, I don't even recognize the West, to be honest with you. Like, I don't recognize the West's playoff lineup because it's some of those teams you don't even think they should be there. And that includes Dallas, because Dallas went through a little bit of a lull there for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden they're up over 100 points every year, which may or may not have something to do with Joe Pavelski. I don't know. We didn't want to re-sign him. Can't let that one go either.
No, I know you can. I know there's a lot of sore spots in there for you.
It's so much salt.
I mean, we're talking about teams with over 100 points right now. I mean, you got Edmonton, they're 109 points on the season. The LA Kings at 104 points on the season. I mean, you talk about Edmonton, you're looking, as we talked about before we came on, the new face of the NHL, Connor McDavid.
Yep. Yeah.
He is just this kid. I knew he was good, and I knew he was probably the best coming out of that draft class when they drafted him. But to
Not
pull
like
the stats, this is I don't know. His stats and his playing and his movements on the ice are things we have not seen in a long time.
And Jay said that the Knights can eat an entire bag of dicks. That is correct. That is correct. I hate Vegas. Instant birthright. Hate Vegas. I hate the Vegas Knights. I hate the Vegas Raiders. I'm going to soon to hate the Vegas Oakland Athletics, and then whatever NBA team wants to go. I guess Oklahoma City. I'll hate them too when they go to Vegas, so they can all eat big bags of dicks. Thank you, Jay. But yeah, just all the teams over 100, and then McDavid. You can't really say
he had 153 points, 64 goals, 89 assists.
And you can't say he came out of nowhere because it's been a consistent build. It's not been a slow build. It's been a consistent build.
Mm-hmm.
But he just ran away with everything. How's he not MVP this year?
Right.
Exactly. There's no way. There's no way he's not. And I'm kind of eager to see like what they do in the West this year. Like what can they do? What can Edmonton do? Not to mention you got McDavid with Edmonton, but also you got Evander Kane and the other big scorer that they got that was keeping up with McDavid there for a hot minute. His name escapes me, as most of them do nowadays. But I see Edmonton coming out of that first round. Like I see them easily taking care of the Kings in that first round.
Yeah, and they split the season 2-2 this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And same thing, unfortunately, with Vegas as well. Though I see them coming out of the first round. Should we do? Are we making picks today? Are we just gonna?
So, yeah, I think we should make picks. Let's also not sleep on Kopitar though. With the Kings, Kopitar is another big name who's been in LA for a while. He finished 74 points. He finished 28 goals, 48 assists on the season. I mean, Kopitar is a solid staple in that organization.
He is, and he's been there, like you say, he's been there for what feels like forever. It feels like forever. It was just Kopitar and Dustin Brown for the Kings and Mike Quick, and now Quick is in Vegas. I
was going to bring that up. I was going to ask if you think LA did him dirty by trading him off to Vegas.
Well, they traded him to Columbus. Shout out to Jay Wendell. They traded him to the Blue Jackets originally. He refused to report, and so Columbus then traded him for a bag of chips to the Knights. So I think LA did him dirty, traded him. Period. Like I think they gave up on him a little too early, maybe a season, a little too early. But I mean, still quality goaltender. He's still top 10 in the league. Like,
well, I mean, look what he's done with Vegas when he got there.
I know
he was
6-7-0 before he had his first loss. Yeah, he went on just a heater.
He was basically telling LA, "Listen, you guys screwed up. I'm still here to play."
Yeah.
And look what you did. Now I'm going to face you guys in the second round.
It could be. It could
possibly.
be. Possible. Yeah. Yeah. It's if LA gets past Edmonton. But
Edmonton's going to be a tough one to get by.
And as far as like the sleepy team there is, like I said earlier, Dallas. You just look up and Dallas has got a great team. Like you couldn't name. I couldn't name you two players on the Dallas Stars. I couldn't. There's no way.
Sagan.
Okay, so Sagan and Pavelski. There you go. Yeah, Sagan and Pavelski, and that doesn't count for Pavelski. And then Radulov, if he's still there, but I don't think he is. I think he went back home to play this season.
I mean, there's still not two teams to sleep on. I mean, looking here, Dallas finished at 108 points at 47-21. Minnesota finished at 103, 46-25. So I mean, these records, these win losses are crazy.
They really are.
The season series, Dallas took it 2-0-2. It's to your point. I can't name a lot of the players anymore on that team.
not to be that guy, but I'm just not looking at headlines, and I think we're both on the same website. But did you see the top headline on that? I didn't know this. You see, Bergeron's going to miss.
Yeah, he might miss game one.
Oof, not a good start, my friend.
But yes, it's not a good start, of course. Bergeron always tends to get hurt in the playoffs or around playoff time.
What so we had the President's Trophy one year. We got swept by the Kings, and ever since then, it's been one of those how you don't touch the conference final trophy. You know, that's a superstition. You
Yep.
know, because you want the cup, you don't want the runner ups. I'm the same way since that year with San Jose. I think they had 108, 113 points, and then got swept by LA. I've been that way ever since. That President's Trophy is a curse. So here you guys are coming into the playoff, full steam ahead. Now one of your top guys goes down. Where's the panic button? At what point? Let's just say, Bruins go down 0-2 to the Florida Panthers. Are you still? It's fine. We can get them. We can get 2 in Florida. We can go 1-1 in Florida and then go 1-1-1.
I mean,
or are you?
If we go 0-2 to Florida, that scares me a little bit.
Yeah,
because the Bruins haven't had. They had a few losses in the season, of course, but in the playoffs, when you go down 0-2, it's either two things happen. Either you're in your own head and saying, shit, it's 0-2, and you're thinking too much, and now you're going to go down 0-3 real quick, or you're 0-2, and you're really putting all fires and coaches making line changes, which hopefully puts fires under the younger guys to step up, because Bergeron, Marchand, DeBrusque, they don't have, they're eventually going to retire soon. They're not the young wheels on a team anymore.
And this is kind of it's not a boom or bust team for Boston, but it kind of is, because like you said, the 2 names you just mentioned, they're not spring chickens. This could be a last hurrah situation for Boston. Not that they couldn't get back another year, but
I mean, there are rumors of Bergeron retiring after the season, I've heard. And I heard on the someone asked me the other day on the radio, do you think Marchand can carry the seat? Like, who is going to be the next captain of the Bruins when Bergeron retires?
Right. Which they said the same thing when Zdeno Chara went away. Like, they were never going to replace him. And I don't think he left officially. Maybe he still was the captain when they traded him away. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, he was still the captain. And I'm going to let a little leak secret here, and people get pissed off at me when I say this, is I was never, ever a Chara fan. I couldn't stand him. When they traded him to Washington, was probably one of the greatest Bruins moments for me.
I was that way with Heatley. I didn't like when Heatley come to the Sharks. I didn't hate him, and it had nothing to do with the car accident. I just felt like that's where we started putting too many names. Maybe that makes sense for the Bruins too, but just too many superstars in the pot on a hockey team doesn't work out. Like,
it wasn't that way for me. It was more the way he played.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's 6'7", off skates, 7'1" on skates, and he's playing like he doesn't want to hit anybody towards his last few years in Boston.
He did. He
and
did
then
do that.
You go back in the day when Don Sweeney's playing for the Bruins, he's like 5'5", and he's playing like he should be 6'7". Like, these little guys have more fire than the big guys.
Yep.
And that was my big gripe with him, is he wouldn't. I'm a fan of dropping the gloves. I'm a fan of fighting in hockey because it's part of the game. But he very rarely did he drop the gloves, especially when you needed him to rock, to get the stadium going, to get the guys going. I didn't think he had that caliber of a captain in him.
Right. No, I agree. I think it was a empty size, I guess is what you could say. Just a big body. His big body. Not that it wasn't great. Not that he wasn't good or anything, but Jay said Panthers not the strongest eat by as it is. I agree. Yeah. Florida's not what they were last year. I think last year was the window for the Panthers, and that closed.
I mean, also, you got to think too. It's playoffs. Everyone's record is now 0-0.
What's up, Joshua?
What up, Joshua?
Yeah.
Everyone's record 0-0. It's a brand new hockey season now. So what the Bruins did in the regular season means nothing.
Right.
What Dallas did in regular season now means nothing.
Let's see. Can we put on? We're streaming live right now on the Asylum Radio Network's Facebook page, the Asylum Radio Network's YouTube page,
and then Media by Diggz Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
And since the shameless plugs right there, please go give everyone a like, share, and subscribe to those pages. Share them out. Tell your friends and everything. We'll be here every Sunday, bringing you updates and our picks and what's going on in the NHL world.
That's it. That is correct. I agree. Jay, I agree, because I hate the Preds, but I loved it when PK came to Nashville, because I felt that way as well. It slowed Nashville down. It did slow Nashville. It kind of stopped their their maturation as a team when PK came. So yeah, that's the same feeling. Yeah, when Heatley came to San Jose, you know, it was the same. That's the way I felt as well. And then when PK came to Nashville, yeah, same.
PK always had the Bruins number though.
He did.
There was when he was either with the Habs or when he was with Nashville, he always had the Bruins number.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
He's one of those players that you love to hate, right?
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you had Claude Lemieux with the Devils. Ulf Samuelsson with, well, I just can't stand him because the whole Cam Neely thing, but we'll get into another episode.
Yeah.
But he was that player that you love to have on your team, but when you see him on the roster against you, you're like, shit.
Yeah, you don't want any of Claude Lemieux. Claude Lemieux was one for, I think, just a lot because he played for so long, and you know, especially in his Colorado years, he was just he was an enforcer. I mean, and we don't have that anymore. We don't have enforcer like those guys don't exist anymore.
No,
and it is because
there's no more Wendell Clark, Sean Thornton's, PJ Stocks. Those guys don't.
They're trying to slowly take that out of hockey, which I don't really get. You know, it's like you said, I'm down for a good hockey fight. Like, drop the gloves, let's go. Like,
100%.
It's just part of the sport. And I don't know. They're changing all of our sports. It feels like I feel like my father now. Jesus Christ! Back in my day, they used to let them fight. And goalie fights. They've broke up 3 goalie fights just in the last couple of weeks. Have you noticed that? They're not letting the goalies are wanting to go. And,
I mean, the goalies want to. I mean, I've been a goalie all my life. I've played goalie since I was 5 years old.
Let's go.
I mean, you talk about good goalie fights. I mean, I hate to keep dating myself. I mean, we're talking about this year's playoffs, but I mean, look at the Avalanche Red Wings rivalry when it was at the heat. You got Patrick Roy and Chris Osgood center ice. That big brawl after that hit on Dino Ciccarelli.
That was such a good series, and I hated both of those teams at that
with
time.
With a passion, too. But that was entertaining hockey. Series.
Yes. There was a few years that it felt like those were the finals. It was like whoever wins this series, doesn't even matter who's coming out of the East. This is your Stanley Cup final right here. Like that's how that went for a few years. You know, just when the Avs and the Red Wings would play, and it didn't feel the same way in the in the regular season, but come playoff time, man, just a whole different feel.
And that's where, like we said earlier, you know, this is the best time of the year for hockey. This is where the guys step it up. This is where the young kids step it up because, you know, some of these kids haven't been to the playoffs yet. Some of these kids want that cup. They want it. It's the best trophy in sports. It's the best. It's the best playoff series in sports, in my opinion. Granted, I'm biased because I played hockey, you know, since I could walk.
I love it. Like I love it. I do think it is. Basketball stepped up here last couple of seasons. And that could just be because the Warriors have been relevant for me, so it's been fun. but like hockey is the most, like we said at the top of the show, it's almost more relaxing if your team's not in it because you will watch it casually. You will watch the playoffs no matter who it is. Like
100%.
It is my favorite. It's my favorite. It's my favorite time of the year. So let's get into these. Let's get into these predictions.
Yeah, I know because you and I we can go on for a 4-hour show here if we
right. We'll save that for round for
like let us.
Yeah. That's it.
Before we jump into the brackets, I'm gonna ask you, what are your 3 keys to victories in the playoffs? What do you think these teams need? Your 3 keys.
Number one, you need good goaltending. Yeah, that is just what has to be done in any time of year, but especially this time of year. Good goaltending. It's like we said, it's a different NHL. It's faster, bigger, stronger, more speed than anything. But good goaltending is very important. Secondly, you got to play smart hockey. You cannot be putting yourself on the PK for entire. Watching the Sharks all year this year, that is what they did. Like I watched more penalty killing than I think I've ever in my entire life. Right. So yes, it's very important. It's very important that you just got to play smart, no penalties. And then the third one is going to be kind of cliche, and it's not something. I mean, it's clearly something you earn, and that's home ice advantage, the crowd. Right. I think that's
huge.
It's huge. I think it's so big. I think it's so big in the playoffs because these atmospheres. You've been to playoff games. You haven't?
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, like the atmospheres. Good Lord. Like some of the most raucous crowds I've ever been in.
You talk about annoying crowds. Go to a playoff game.
Football. It doesn't matter. Hockey crowds during the playoffs show up. And what I like about it a lot too, when I say, and then why I say the crowds is my third most important key, is because it's, you know, football games, anywhere, playoff game, the Cowboys, there's going to be a ton of Cowboys fans in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? And a ton of Steeler fans everywhere you go, and yada, yada. And same thing with the NBA, Lakers fans and the Warriors fans and Celtics fans. But hockey, however, I don't know if they quietly police it. It's an unwritten rule, whatever, or the fans are just that passionate. Home fans sell out their tanks. They sell them out, and it is just, you just feel it. You can feel it through the TV. And so, yeah, those are my three keys to any team this playoff year.
Well put. Well put. Shall we get into the bracket?
Let's go.
Where are we at? There we are. You want to start in the West?
Yeah, let's start in the West. That first matchup there, the Seattle Kraken, first playoffs of their franchise versus the Colorado Avalanche. I have the Avalanche just on they're the defending champs right now, so you can't count them out till they're gone, right?
Right.
And Cale Makar's healthy, I believe. Now he's back, and that he's going to be a huge cog in that whole thing for Colorado. So I got Colorado advancing to the second round.
How many games do you think it's going to take for Colorado? I'm going to say they take it in 5.
I think they're going to take it in 5 as well. I think Seattle will get 1 at home, and then Colorado's just too much for them, though.
Yeah, Colorado's. I think Colorado's going to be too much. One, with the experience of being in the playoffs, winning the cup. Seattle's just too young.
Yep,
and not enough experience in there.
No, I agree.
I'm saying I agree. I take the Avs in 5 on that. Now jumping down to Minnesota and Dallas, I don't know too much about the Wild or the Stars. They're not really on my radar, but I'm going to take Dallas in 4.
I'm with you on the sweep. Like, I'm with you on the sweep. I don't buy Minnesota being there. I don't know. And like I said, Dallas just keeps going. So I as well have Dallas in 4.
Jumping down, we've got the Jets and Vegas.
This one's interesting to me because this should be Vegas in 4. But I just, something about this Winnipeg team, I think they're going to give them a fight. I don't think they're going to beat them. I'm going to take Vegas in 6.
That's what I just wrote down, Vegas in 6.
Yep.
And then going down to the Kings and the Oilers, I think that's going to be a drag out, a knockout, like a knuckles, like you're biting your knuckles on this one.
Yeah.
I think we're going 7.
Yeah.
And I think we're going the Oilers.
You got the Oilers in 7. I've got the Oilers in 6. I've got the Oilers in 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I just, something about those LA crowds. I'm going to say it now. The LA crowds don't show up. And when they do show up, they only show up if they win. It's deflating for LA when they get behind 1 or 2 goals. And Edmonton's just so fast. Like, they're just big and they're fast, and they got Connor McDavid. Like, how
that's
Edmonton in 6.
Edmonton in 6. Are you writing your picks down?
I am. Yep.
And me too.
Yep.
All right, let's jump up. Bruins and the Panthers. You know who I've gotten that one. Obviously, it's the Panthers.
No spoilers here, huh?
I'm going to say the Bruins in 5. I'm going to say the Panthers at least get 1 on them. And I think they're going to get 1 in Boston on them.
This will surprise you because I've talked a lot of mess in this situation, but I've got Boston in 4.
You're going with the sweep.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I just don't see any way that they let this go until proven otherwise. You know what I mean? Like, they're the team. They're the team to beat.
Lightning and the Leafs.
Well, here we go again for Toronto. I'm going to take Tampa in 6. I think there's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be. Here's my prediction for this one, and it goes back to how we said at the beginning with what do you believe in Toronto? And I don't, but I do believe that Toronto is good enough to give everybody that false hope that they're going to win this series. I think Toronto either goes up 2-0 or 2-1 in this series at one point, and then the Lightning just storm back, and they never let them go.
I'm going Leafs in 7.
Oh, nice. Okay, that would be fun. Hey, that would be fun.
I would like to see a Leafs Bruins rematch.
That
Not
would
not a
be
rematch, but just another round
just
of Leafs and
another
Bruins.
round. Yeah, here we go.
Two
Another
original
chapter.
6 teams.
Another chapter.
Isles and the Whaler Canes.
Yeah, I'm partial on this one. Of course, the jersey curse. You're welcome, Carolina, for getting a top 5 defenseman, because my wife likes to buy me jerseys. She always buys me jerseys of relevant players. She bought me this one, the new, it was new last year. And I was like, yeah, it's so awesome. I turned around and said Burns. And I was like, you've ruined the band's going to break up now because of you. 2 weeks later, they traded Burnsy away to Carolina. And I've been a closet Hurricanes fan since, and I'm going to stick with them. I got the Hurricanes.
Going to Hurricanes. How many?
Hurricanes in 5.
Hurricanes in 5. I'm actually going Isles in 5.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I don't know too much about the Isles and the Canes, but something about the Islanders logo. I don't know what it is.
It's classic.
I've always liked it. Like I said, I don't know too much of the stats on them. That's on me.
Yeah,
not coming prepared to class today. But I'm going Isles in 5.
Okay.
And then we got quite a matchup there. We got New York and we got the Rangers and the Devils. Always a great game. Regular season playoffs or whatever. They both bring it.
I hate that this is a first round matchup. Why? This should be second round or conference finals matchup.
Yep.
Yeah. Much like I would hate to see Boston and Toronto in the second round. That should be a conference finals matchup, but this is another team I've followed since the trade deadline this year. New Jersey picked up Timo Meier. He's fully healthy now, and he's continued to score down there in Jersey. I've got New Jersey in 7 on this one. This one's going 7.
Jersey in 7. Ooh. I'm going to go Jersey in 5.
Okay. I just give the Rangers, man. They're another one of those teams. It's like
but they're one of those teams that if they don't show up and they don't get a good jump right off the rip, they're done.
Yep.
If they go 0-1, 0-2, we've seen them, fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to go Jersey in 5.
All right. Okay. That brings us. That sets us up for our conference finals. Are we gonna go that far? Or are we just gonna? Or no, I'm sorry. Second round. My bad.
Second round. I mean, if we're gonna go, we might as well make our picks all the way through.
All the way through. Okay. All right. So it would be.
So your second round would be the same as mine, right? The Avs and the Stars.
No, actually, my second round would be. No, yeah, you're right. I went ahead and filled out all the way through. Yes, Avs and the Stars. My bad. Yeah, so I would have Colorado in 6 on that one.
Yeah, I was going to do Colorado in 6 as well.
Yep. Yeah, I just think, once again, experience and champs until they're not.
I'm just writing my other. I picked the Leafs. So much writing. I had Vegas and the Oilers in my second round.
I did as well. Have Vegas and Edmonton.
I'm taking Edmonton in 7.
Okay. And I'm taking Edmonton in 5.
Okay.
Yep. I just don't believe in Vegas. No love.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Including them in the second round.
Fair enough. Now you had the Bruins and the Lightning round 2.
I did. Correct. Yep.
I had Bruins and the Leafs.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. And this one's tough. Another one of those. This should be a conference final.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Cinderella's slipper falls off. And I have the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5.
Tampa in 5.
And it's only because of the experience. It's not that Boston doesn't have the experience. I just think this will make sense once it gets on to later on in this bracket. But I just think there's something about Tampa. This is the last ride. Even though a lot of that team from the first 2 aren't around, they've traded some off, a lot of free agency, but still, I like Tampa. I like Tampa here.
I'm being the hometown boy here. I'm gonna stick with the Bruins.
Do it.
But I give them in 6.
Okay.
I see the Leafs pulling out a few oh shits. Like,
Yeah.
they're here to play.
Yep. Yep.
But the Bruins take it in 6 overall.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Who do you got for this next? You got the Islanders and the Devils?
Yes.
Okay. Who you got there?
I got the Devils. I'm gonna go Devils in 5.
And I'm taking the Devils in 5 over the Hurricanes.
All right. Now we're on to the finals, the conference finals.
Yes. Yes. This is where it gets dicey right here. This is where it gets a little more fun.
This is, yeah. I think we both have the Avs and the Oilers.
We do.
That's a hell of a conference final right there.
That is fun right there. I like that. I really would love to see this matchup. I'd love to see this matchup.
I'd love to see it go 7.
Yeah.
Close games.
Yep.
Like 2-1, 3-2, 1-0. I take the Oilers.
You take the Oilers. Okay.
Take the Oilers in 7.
Oilers in 7. I have Colorado in 6.
Okay. This fucking mic. Ooh, I've got Boston and Jersey.
Yep. Which is a classic matchup. My goodness. That's
another.
Yes.
That's another rivalry. I'm going Boston in 6.
Okay. Then I have Tampa in Jersey, and I have Tampa in 7.
Okay. That brings us to good old Lord Stanley Cup. And man,
Yes.
I can't wait for those shows when we're down in the Stanley Cup finals.
Oh, I know, dude. It's going to be so fun. Like, that's going to be so much fun.
So much hockey talk.
So much. So plus it's going to be
2 shows.
but by the time we get down to the finals, it's going to be a lot of like look back of I knew they were going to blow it, or holy crap, I was wrong. You know, and that's what's fun about making the early predictions, especially round by round. Anybody can say, well, such and such is going to win it, or I like breaking it down, much like a March Madness, much like you can't just say, well, Xavier is going to win. That'd be no fun.
Right.
You got to do bracketology, baby, bracketology.
You got to
so
do it.
Your finals are Edmonton and Boston, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Who you got?
I got a tie in 7. They share the cup, all right?
That's it. Everybody gets their name on it this year.
I'm going Boston in 7.
Okay. Write it down. Write it down.
Right,
and then
there's my brackets.
There it is. I like it. And then I have the rematch. I have the rematch of last year. And this year, the cup's going back to Tampa. I'm taking Tampa in 6 for a reversal of what we've seen last year. They're going to get their three-peat with the pause.
And you got them going against Edmonton in the final?
No, I had them going against Colorado.
Colorado, okay.
Yep. And I got Tampa beating Colorado in 6 for my Stanley Cup champion. And for the end of that dynasty. It's been an amazing run. So I'd give them 4 cup finals in 4 years, 3 cups.
That's incredible. It's something you don't see. That's unheard of, really.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on our first show here, Rocking the Crease, right here
very
on the
much
Asylum.
appreciated.
Like, share, subscribe. We're gonna do this weekly all the way through playoff hockey and right into the Stanley Cup Finals, and then what do we do with it after that? We'll figure it out. We'll turn it into Rocking the Goal Line. At which time we're going to celebrate 17 weeks of 49ers football because we're both huge fans. Jimmy G is our man.
Yeah, something like that. But I wouldn't put it past us either to pop up with some quick updates on the social medias and the stories. So be on the lookout. You know, the Asylum Network. You know, their stories, my stories on Diggs' media. Keeping everyone up to float of what's going on with us, and you know, every Sunday, like Diego said, we'll be here.
Yep.
And before we head out, I'd like to send a congratulations to Quinnipiac on their national championship this year in the men's hockey division, taking out Minnesota, which was, you know, they were down 3-2 in the final minutes, came back, tie it, and then won it in like a minute and 30 in overtime.
And that's the first time for them, right? They're up in Connecticut. Is that right?
So Connecticut had 2 national championships this year with UConn in the men and UConn in the basketball and Quinnipiac with hockey.
Yep, and just like days apart too.
Exactly. So
congrats
to the state of Connecticut for racking in some hardware this year.
That's it. All right.
All right.
It's
I'm
been
Diggz.
fun.
I'm out. That's Diego, the Asylum Radio Network. Check them out. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.